Well, good day.
Hey, everybody. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're front. We're back. We're front. We're back. It's another episode of Rock and Roll Confessional.
And today it's Felix Cavaliere. He's one of the founders of Grammy-winning and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, the Rascals. The band had number one songs like Good Lovin', Groovin', A Beautiful Morning, I've Been Lonely Too Long, People Got to Be Free, and How Can I Be Sure? Felix still infuses that same enthusiasm when he's talking about a language beyond words, music.
His work has never been bolder as it is in his new album. It's entitled Then and Now. Felix Cavaliere and the Rascals are members of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Musicians Hall of Fame, Grammy Hall of Fame, Songwriters Hall of Fame, and Then and Now is Felix's first solo album since 1993.
So here we go, a delightful chat, our interview with Felix Cavaliere.
Hey, Rita. Hi, CW. How are you all?
Great.
Good.
How are you, Felix?
We're doing well. We're doing okay.
Good.
I can't tell you what an honor this is to speak with you and talk with you. Your music
thank
had
you.
such an imprint on my life. You know, just like growing up as a kid, and it was like, oh my God, this is just great stuff. You know.
Well, thank you.
And congratulations on the new album because you do connect with the past, and you also have connected with the future to the present.
Right.
Then and Now, as you call the album, and it's really good.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you. We did this during the pandemic mess. You know, we had started with an idea, you know, which was to take 5 old songs, re-record them, show the influence by writing 5 new songs to a degree, as much as we could. And then all of a sudden the pandemic hit, and here we were, we had tracks, but we couldn't do anything more in the studio. So through the magic of technology, we were able to do this in our homes. So it really was, it was a great thing because first of all, it gave us something to occupy our minds. Second of all, we had kind of unlimited time to do it.
Yeah, and Felix, give us the songs that you recorded that were recorded by someone else, like Clarence Carter, Benny King.
Yes.
Who else was on
Jackie
there that you
Wilson.
re-recorded?
Well, it was a Jackie Wilson song, Higher and Higher. And then there was a Bobby Moore song, which is a little abstract. A lot of people don't know it. And we also, let's see, we had Benny King. We had Ray Charles, of course. Yeah, Ray Charles. And trying to think if I left anybody out there. Ray Charles, Jackie Wilson, Clarence Carter. You know, as I say, we just really tried to capture that energy that was coming over the airwaves when I was a kid. And it was just so much fun. You know, first of all, when you re-record great songs, it's a tremendous plus. You know, I mean, if you start with a great song, it's really hard to mess it up, you know?
Well, speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a great songs that Slip Away, Spanish Harlem by Benny King, which was so amazing. And then Your Love Lifts Me Higher and Higher, Jackie Wilson. And then didn't you re-record one of your old songs?
I did. I have a new keyboard player who's of Latin descent, and he plays amazing Latin piano. I said, we've got to do it, you know? So he did that Summer in El Barrio over. Yeah.
That's great.
Which was really fun. I mean, like I say, you know, as I say, it really made the time go by in a positive way.
Mm. That's one thing that, you know, maybe I didn't realize when I was growing up and listening to this album, the spiritual journey. I mean, you're a really spiritual soul, and that comes through in the music. And that's, you know, in this day and age with all that's going on, we need more of that, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. Well, you know, I did a book a year or two back called Memoir of a Rascal. And, you know, I attribute the kind of connection, so to speak, to the spirit to my mom. My mom was an extremely devout, you know, Catholic lady. And it just rubbed off. It rubbed off in a way that I always felt connected. And I still like to be like that the rest of my life,
But you kind of went like the George Harrison path, right?
Well, I did. Yeah, and for many reasons, I really find that a lot of the religious leaders, they may know a lot of things that they don't share with you.
Mm.
Not to be, not to get really in depth here, but when my mom passed, I was really confused. So I would talk to priests, and I didn't get my answers, so I had to go further. And of course, when like Beatles and everybody were doing Maharishi, I kind of knew George Harrison a little bit. And I went to his home and I asked him very, very deeply, is this stuff for real, man? Because I'm about to jump into the pool. And he said, yes. And that did it. That cemented my belief, because he was a lovely, lovely man. He was just real, he's kind of a real gentle soul,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, religion can be, I mean, as we even see right now, what's going on in Israel right now, it's just, religion can just get in the way at times. We all have to find that perfect spot of love, and just finding where it takes you, whatever that religion may be, whether it's Buddhist or Christian or Judaism. There's so much that we have to find on our own, but we have to also open up to being just realistic that everybody's got their own beliefs.
Well, the beliefs are one thing, but the madness of this present situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what religion they belong to, because this is it's more than that. This is kind of like a land thing and a home thing, and it's been, my God, it's been out for thousands of years. It's still going on. Yeah. And it's ridiculous. I mean, you kill little kids. What do they got to do with it?
What does anybody got to do with it, really? I mean it's so old.
Just sad.
Yeah,
it really is. But that's how I feel about a lot of the things that are in our newspapers today. I mean, it's 2023. We're still talking about race. We're still. Exactly. I mean, wait a second. I thought we'd advanced a little bit.
Exactly.
Yes, it's just it's really, it's not funny, but it's ridiculous, because I mean, don't we know that we're all made of the same particles? Yeah. Or maybe we're not. Maybe they've come up with something new. Alien beings are among them.
Whoever got probed by the aliens might be starting a new race.
I'm telling you, I don't know anymore. I'm just sitting back and I'm going, are we this dumb?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are, unfortunately. That's another thing that you really did back in the day that I don't think you got a lot of credit for, because people didn't really talk about it. But you always had Black musicians on the bill. You always supported equal rights. That was something that was intrinsic to you. And I don't know if you got a lot of flack for that or not, or from promoters.
Oh, yeah.
You did?
Oh, yeah. Well, when you're young like that, you don't really think of the ramifications of a lot of things that you say, to say the least, It made complete sense to me, because basically what happened is, the Rascals, we were on Atlantic Records. We were the first white artists on the red and black label.
Yeah. So
our audience crossed over. We had, in those days, you were able to be played on the black stations and vice versa. Whereas I don't know if that's the case so much anymore. We're all demographically disoriented now by commercials. But one day we did a show, and I believe that the group was called Young Holt Trio or something like that. I think they had that song "Grazing in the Grass" or something. Oh, yeah. And they really, even though they were black skinned, they were not an R&B band; they were a pop band.
Yeah,
So they somehow got in to open the show for us, and they came backstage and they said, "Man, thank you so much for putting us on this bill." And I said, "Well, I appreciate that, but I really don't have much to do with that. I just kind of, show up, and oh boy, we don't get a chance to play for white audiences." And I said, man, right back at you. We don't get a chance to play for black audiences. What a great idea. Let's integrate. What a thought. I thought Lyndon Johnson. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, maybe I'm wrong. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. So now I opened up a can of, like worms where the people, like in a lot of places that we went, they didn't want to hire us anymore. I said, well, this is not ridiculous. I mean, you're dancing to the music. You got to look and see who's behind the label. I mean, wait a minute. So, yes, it did cause a lot of consternation, but I'm really glad I did it because we did shows, with like Drifters and the Coasters and, the Temptations and Four Top and even James Brown. We did Madison Square Garden with James Brown. Oh, my God. Was that a treat?
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, we had a good time.
This may be a really dumb question, but what's the difference between the Rascals and the New Rascals?
No, there's no New Rascals. That was a misnomer. That was when the group broke up. Yeah, when the group broke up, that was the saddest part of the whole situation there. They wanted to continue, and they had to change the name. Nonsense. The difference was we were not all the Rascals, and we're still not. Now we've lost one.
Right.
Dino Donelli passed, and Eddie. I don't know. Eddie just stopped working. I mean, he retired at a very early age.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, I guess so, but I mean, most of us, they're going to have to tear us off the stage, I mean, seriously, okay, it's time to go home,
Yeah, you just finished a tour with War, wasn't it, for the summer concert series?
We had a blast. We were with War and Family Stone because Sly is
not around.
He's not on the road. Yeah. Why, you Sly guy, you? Yeah. It was fun, man. It was fun. We really got along both personally and musically. It was great.
That is excellent. Another thing that you guys did early on that was kind of unheard of, you kept the rights to your songs for maybe at least a while. And then also your first record, you got to produce your own record. That's amazing.
That was the deal. Yeah, that was what I wanted to do. I came up, listening to Alan Freed, and I amassed a pretty good record collection. Instead of eating lunch at school, I bought records. And
you and all of us.
Yeah, I guess we all did that, And one of the things that I found was the thing called producing. I was originally turned on to it by Berry Gordy. I read his name on a record that was called Money, by Barrett Strong. Right. And I said, wow, producing, I think I could do that. And then, of course, Phil Spector, tremendous influence. So when we started the group, when I put the guys together, we had a concept for a sound. I said, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to base it around like great vocals, great musicians, and we're going to feature kind of like the organ sound, as well as, the drum and guitar, of course, and the voices. And so when the record companies came a calling, they wanted to put producers into the mix. Matter of fact, Phil Spector himself came around. And I said, well, no, man, I want to do it. They said, what do you mean? I said, well, you like what you hear, right? I mean, you're signing us up because you don't want to change us, do you? Because if you're not going to change us, why don't we do it? And so only label that would allow that to happen was Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
So Atlantic gave us freedom of movement, freedom of studio, and then they put a little bit of a caveat on there. They put two of the most productive human beings I've ever met in my life, Tom Dowd and Arif Mardin. Even though we were the producers, we had giants in the room. So it was really, really, really a blast.
That's great.
That's a nice story. Did you ever have conflict with the record companies like we've heard so many bands at that time?
Yeah, especially when you've got you've got control over your releases and stuff like that. We had and still have a tremendous amount of control over our product. It was written into the contract.
That's great.
So you go to war with, rest his soul, Jerry Wexler. Jerry used to be one of the people I had to contend. And it's really interesting because when people are making decisions about songs to release, it's just your opinion against my opinion. It's really, I mean, the classic stories of the Beatles being turned down by Decca Records. You know how many stories there are like that? Yeah, I don't think they're good enough. Yeah, well, what the heck? So we'd clash a lot, but it was a friendly clash and it was a business they felt like, for example, when we did People Gotta Be Free, that we were stepping into, uncharted waters. Why are you going over there? And I said, because I'm going over there. I think it's important that people know where we're at so they can decide where they're at, And so we clashed, and it was a number one record in all the oppressed countries of the world at that time.
God, what a great song.
Yeah, it was fun too. It was like I say, that's what it's all about, differences of opinion,
Yeah.
And actually, Phil Spector came to produce you guys, right? Or was checking you out?
He did. And it was very difficult for me to say no to that because I really admired his work. I mean, he was brilliant. My God.
In the studio.
Yeah.
In the studio. Well, in his personal life, yeah, there's little problems there. Rest his soul. But I mean, he was married to a dear friend of mine. Ronnie Spector. That's
God.
What stories we have. Stories we have.
Well, I heard that he broke his leg or something when you guys turned him down or something.
Well, he fell. Yeah, he fell.
Oh, he fell.
Because the place we were working was called a barge, and there was it was land, and then there was a little footbridge, and then you had to get into the barge. And I think he missed.
Sorry.
Oh, Phil.
Yeah,
karma. But I mean, what a mind. What a mind.
Yeah.
Did you write for other artists? I know other artists have recorded your music, but have you written for other artists?
Oh yeah, I did. Like I've had some experience with that in the past. It's a difficult. That's why I moved to Nashville. I moved down here because I wanted to continue to write. Writing has become kind of the easiest word I can say is diluted at this point. When you write a song now, there's a tribe. You're writing with a tribe. There's like 5 or 6 people. Because what's happening now is, like, for example, if somebody comes in the room and puts a drum track down, they're considered a writer.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so if you look on the credit, yeah, so I kind of backed off a little bit. But yeah, I really enjoy writing. As I said, that's why I moved here. It's just become more and more difficult to get that cut, what they call the cut, for a number of reasons, and all of them. It's like this friend of mine wrote this song called "It's Not the Money, It's the Money." Right?
Why does Nashville make it easier for you to write? Because you're writing with other people, and there's a lot of other people there to join in, or?
Well, I'll tell you a story. It's just Nashville. Nashville is Music City. And I'll tell you a little story because I tell this a lot. I get a kick out of it. People like, when I first moved here, which was in '89, these people came up to me and said, there's a bank in town that will help you out as a publisher, a writer, even as a musician, if you want to build a studio. I said, you're kidding. He said, no, man, they got a special department, for lending money to artists. I said, it's just like New York City when it was called the Exit. True.
Man.
So there's a welcoming committee here. There really is. I mean, seriously, they understand what it is to be a writer, a publisher, even an artist. I mean, they get it. There's a different pay scale. You get paid like quarterly or biannually as a writer, most of the time, unless you have a separate deal. They understand that, they give you that. It's really a nice environment for writing and for music.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is.
It's also kind of like a vortex in the sense that very creative people. I hear stuff out of Nashville that, I used to hear in music all the time, special arrangements and just great crafted songs.
Oh yeah.
And there's something to be said about that. I don't know if it's,
the thing is that when there's work, people come here for the work. In other words, like the musicians came from LA, they came from New York, they came from all over because there's work for them. There's sessions, there's opportunities for them, So yes, they're here in mass, and it's really, it's great because I moved here from Connecticut and I really thought, seriously that I would send out search parties for musicians, because, it is kind of it's kind of a weird profession, you know what I'm saying? Especially in Connecticut, where, here I was mingling with the people who owned all the businesses,
Right.
Not the people that worked for them. But, like I say, this is a great place.
What was it like working with Steven Van Zandt?
Well, basically, actually, Dino was working with him. Dino, my ex-drummer, was working with him. The involvement I had with him was he wanted to do, well, first of all, he was very helpful in getting us into the Hall of Fame, and second of all, he wanted to do a Broadway show based on our music. And that was the other involvement that I had.
Yeah, he did the
Induction.
We were indicted by him. Yes, we were indicted.
Yeah. Well, they say that speech that he gave almost got him the role in Sopranos, though, too.
No, not almost. That's a true story.
It's a true story?
Really?
Okay.
I don't know if you haven't seen his speech, Google it, because it was brilliant. He was ready for that.
Oh.
And what's his name? David Case saw him and invited him to try out for that part.
Oh, that's great.
That's
interesting karma. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Compare the recording of the new album Now and Then to the way you used to record, say, your first, second, third album. Was it easier because you could kind of pull in the different parts from different people and I guess do it all digitally? Or is it easier to have everybody in the studio doing it all at once?
Well, we never really did it all at once. I mean, all at once was basically just for the basic track. And then even though we only had 8 tracks in those days, I mean, we were the only ones in the business, Les Paul and Atlantic Records, that had 8. Imagine all those Beatles and Stones and everything.
4 tracks.
4 tracks.
Which is a testament to how talented those engineers were in those days. To make that happen really took a lot of skill, But anyway, in answer to your question, I have more freedom of movement now. One of the things, it's difficult when you're a group. You really want to use the people in the band as much as you can on the records. When you're not in a group, when the thing has dissipated, you have a lot of people you can call on to sit in, so to speak, and sing. In those days, we took pride in the fact that it was just 4 of us, and we did almost everything. Until we hired a bass player, to play on the records. But you don't have that. You don't have that kind of like restriction when you're out in the real world. Is it easier to record digitally? Well, yeah. I think what's easy about it is you can make more mistakes and fix them. It's kind of like a spell check. Can anybody spell anymore? I don't think so. Can anybody add and subtract? I don't know.
Do we need to? Is the question.
Well, we don't. And that's exactly what it's like in a recording studio. You don't have to even sing anymore. We'll fix you. We'll make you sound good.
As soon as we have AI, we won't even have the wheeze anymore.
Oh,
It'll just be...
boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Let me tell you, we're in store for it. Yeah.
Like you started off saying at the beginning, haven't we learned anything? Weren't we brighter back then?
Oh, I tell you that, that's the thing, is that the talent just in one field alone, they were really good, man. I mean, in other words, you couldn't fix them up and enhance them like you can today. You could fix anything. We can fix syllables in songs now. I mean, we could divide the word and get the best sounding part. And it's ridiculous. But, in the old days, that's why I put Jackie Wilson and Benny King and, even Ray Charles. Come on, Marvin Gaye. Are there any out there? I don't know. We'll never know because they're all computerized. Yeah.
Until we see them live in concert. And then sometimes you can kind of tell, like, oh, man.
Britney Spears.
Hey, man, we can fix you live, too, man. You can go right through one of these auto tunes. Yeah, man, they got us.
I'm glad your voice still sounds good.
I'm glad my voice still sounds good, too. Thank you.
Yeah. I was watching some of the videos, the show you did right down the street at Pacific Amphitheater, I think back in August. I was like, man, that voice for 80 years old. Congratulations, man. You've been able to keep it.
Well, being Italian helps.
That's great.
Felix, with the end of the show here, we do what's called the bonus round. So now we're just going to throw some fun questions at you.
Okay.
Like,
what's your favorite color?
Okay, not that fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You've worked with so many musicians. Is there anyone that you regret not having worked with?
Well, as I said earlier, I really wanted to do a duet with Benny King.
Oh,
I knew Benny very well, and there's so many other people I could name, but we had talked about it. We'd spoken about it. We used to meet all the time at the Hall of Fames, the Songwriters Hall of Fame and all these things, but we never did it. I regret that.
mm.
Mm. What was the first concert you went to?
Ah, boy. Well, in those days we had the reviews. We had Murray the K and Alan Freed. They do these phenomenal shows. They had Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, Little Richard. We rocked, man. And it was all of $5.
Yeah,
So,
that was a lot then.
Yeah, no, it was like an RKO theater, something like that. Yeah, what fun.
Mm.
What's the most important thing that you would say to somebody who wants to get into the music business? Something that you learned, just by living, with age and knowledge.
It depends on what you want to do. I would recommend that you learn obviously computer technology today as much as you can. Write if you can on a computer. It's easier unless you want to just do it the old fashioned way. But make sure you play in front of people. Make sure you get that exposure, because if you don't, that's going to throw you when you go out live. Number two is if you write a song and you play it for someone, basically like an audience, and they like it, you've got something, So I think that, if you're gonna do it, just be prepared for, unfortunately, a long haul today, because it's very difficult.
Plus, the money's in the touring anyway, so.
Well, the money's in the touring, but the money is in the entire process. Right now, basically, if you don't, they used to call it payola, in the old days.
Oh yeah, we know about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, now they call it advertising.
Oh my God.
5 minutes. I'm buying 5 minutes of time. What's the difference? It's legal, completely legal. You just instead of a product, I've got a product.
But you're not paying in cocaine anymore.
No, I don't think so.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Still involves money.
What was your craziest Spinal Tap moment?
Oh my God. Well, some of the craziest moments, like for example, when we did this big show in I gotta amend this because the second part is not for air, but
It's okay.
We did this great show in Paris, which was an international show, had groups from all over the world, and we were representing the United States. And I use a Hammond organ, and it was hard finding a Hammond organ. And so what happened is they plugged it into the wrong amperage, thing blew up.
Oh my.
So I remember I played the bass also. So I ended up with a farfisa. There is no bass on a farfisa. There is no soul on a farfisa. It's a anyway. That was the first part. The second part, oh my God, had to do with a band member who was very nervous, and unfortunately had a little accident on stage.
Oh my God.
But it's a lot of tension when you're international radio and they're blasting it. You got to go on. You can't go on. I'm not going to play. Oh boy. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so sad.
Behind the scenes is always fun. Always.
Are you planning to do some more touring and stuff like that? Or
absolutely. We're on the road.
Good.
They just had down here in Nashville, they have what's called AIBA, which is a convention which books you for next year.
Oh.
That's where you get your work. We've already got 2 cruises. That's the new thing now. Flower Power Cruise we have, which is a bunch of us oldies but goodies that get a chance to play for a bunch of oldies but goodies. And let me tell you, they have a ball.
Yeah.
They have a uncontrolled ball. And then when they get back to shore, they go back to their normal lives. It's really fun. Really fun. Really, really a great, great thing.
That's
Will
great.
you be coming out to Southern California next year? Do you?
I really hope so. My manager lives out there, and we get such a great welcome when we come out, like when we did the show with War and this Family Stone.
Yeah.
We got a good following out there. I really want to come out there. Plus, you've got that sunshine, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Who would you want to meet that you've never met?
Well, they're probably not here anymore. That's the problem.
That's okay.
You know?
It's your game as much as our game, so go ahead.
I never had a chance to meet Elvis. I mean, he was always out of town when we got to Memphis. I like to meet Elvis. I never met Frank Sinatra. I'd like to meet Frank. I met a lot of the other Rat Pack, but a lot of people, Mahatma Gandhi. There's a lot of folks we could run into.
Sure.
That would make my day.
Yeah,
absolutely. You've been fantastic. Congratulations with this album, Then and Now. Really
thank you.
enjoyed
I appreciate it.
It's really good, and I wish you all the best.
Well, I hope I get to see you all in California shortly.
So too.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Felix. Really appreciate it.
All right. God bless.
Awesome.
Hey, take care.
Stay smart.
Yes, ma'am. See ya.
Okay.
All right. Thanks again.
Good times with Felix, right?
Oh my God. Those songs just had such an imprint on my life, and they was like Groovin. Who doesn't hear Groovin and is not in good mood or
right?
Beautiful morning. It's great stuff. I love it.
It's all good times, man. Good times.
Felix Cavaliere's new album, Then and Now, is out now and can be found wherever you stream your music, or pick up a CD or vinyl copy at your favorite record store or at his website, FelixCavalieremusic.com. Thank you to Jody Glissman Best for coordinating the interview. She is the absolute best. Simply the best, as Tina Turner would say.
She is the best. You can follow Felix on social media at Facebook, Felix Cavaliere's Rascals. Cavaliere is Cavalieres, Rascals. So follow him there and check out our show notes on our website. It's rockandrollconfessional.rocks. You can also go there and, send us a note if you want to and tell us what your thoughts are on the podcast. There you can find links to some of the subjects talked about in today's show, including a link to order the new album in vinyl, classic videos of the Rascals and Felix, and some cool rare photos that we found.
Please support the podcast by subscribing wherever you can, writing a review, follow and comment on Instagram and Facebook, sharing our posts with your friends. And then, like I say, every episode, CW does a fantastic job with the website. He puts all sorts of different things up there. And then I love your daily stuff that you put up too, when rock and roll information breaks or this day in history. It's very good stuff, CW.
Well, thank you, Rita Wild. I appreciate it. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
We're coming
buddy.
into the appreciation season, aren't we? Just around the corner.
We are.
We have 7 weeks of appreciating more than we normally do. So
exactly.
I appreciate you, Rita. Thank you.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody who listens and everybody who writes nice comments.
Anyway, that's it for today's show. We shall be back soon. See you, everybody.